Why did Japan recreate the concept of Bushido during the Meiji period? Bushido and the idea that Japan surrendered too late are separate issues which have both been dealt with in prior answers. Bushido, as a myth created to valorize warrior ideals and discussed in this answer by you, Roguy21. Japan surrendering too late was discussed in this answer by you, restricted data just a few days ago. I don't mean to offer commentary on these prior answers, but I think it is worth it to write a little more about the way you've connected surrender too late to Bushido. Japan's refusal to surrender was not out of some abstract warrior code. That is to say, Japan did not instill some extremely high honor standard which made surrenders more difficult in general. Rather, the refusal to surrender was a specific strategic decision for this war. Japan believed the stakes of World War II in particular were too high to allow surrender. What did they believe was at stake? By and large, it was assumed that surrender would lead to colonization. The imperial family would be killed, and Japan would be forced to hand over its natural resources and human population for Western exploitation. Due to propaganda, it was widely believed that to submit to this colonization would be a fate worse than death. I previously discussed the widespread extent of this belief here. These beliefs were modern, not ancient. They were the result of years of militarist propaganda, which some historians also characterize as fascist. They were also the result of the sanctification of the imperial household and the belief that a surrender would necessarily involve the end of 2,600 years of sacred imperial dynasty. Since I have been summoned and I have a minor background in Japanese history, the important thing to remember in any and all discussions of Japanese imperial history from the mid-19th century to the end of WWIT is that it was carried out with active cognizance of the contemporary history of China. China was actively imperialized by the powers of the West during this period, despite being arguably the mightiest country on earth for the past 2,500 years, and the Japanese were all too cognizant of this. Much of later Meiji imperialist texts fixates on social Darwinian analogies that make this explicit. For the Japanese, China suffered its fate because it refused to adopt the political and economic methods which had given birth to Western domination of the world, and the only way for Japan to be spared a similar fate was an active and aggressive assimilation of those ideas on Japanese terms and the establishment of an empire capable of challenging the Western powers. WWE was viewed as the final confrontation of these two world systems, of Asian and European colonial spheres, which could only result in either the imperialization or triumph of Japan. Reading your linked answer, would it be fair to say that Bushido during the Edo period would be similar to machismo in how it was viewed and understood by authorities? Or was this supposed to be a sarcastic statement?